Hi again and welcome to the next section of the course. You've made it so far already. Great job. Now in this section we're going to be learning about Ads Manager. And the Ads Manager for Facebook ads is pretty much like the control panel. This is where you see everything. This is where you gather the data. This is where you micromanagement, and this is even where you macro management everything that has to do with your ads, right? This is the complete control panel, and we're first of all going to learn how to navigate it, and then throughout this entire section, we are going to learn how to properly optimize your ad, how to dissect your ads for valuable data, and simply how to master Facebook ads, right? You need to understand Facebook Ads Manager to properly master Facebook ads. Let's dive in. As always, we are going to do this step by step, and we're going to start from the very top and then work our way down to the bottom. And in this lecture, we're going to start off with more of a brief overview, then we're going to dive into some details, all right? So where you are right now is the Facebook Ads Manager. This is the control panel, if you will, and it looks decently simple, but there's a lot to it. And we don't need to understand everything, but we do need to understand a lot of the functions to properly optimize our ads, right? So first off, if you go to the very top here, we have something that says campaigns, and then it gives us a, well, basically it's my personal name, is probably going to be yours too, and then a ad account ID. As you can see, you can also click on see more ad accounts. Now the thing with this is that this is our personal account, or I'm using my personal account, and you probably are too. You can add in more ad accounts, you can use more ad accounts. However, later on in this section, we're going to learn how to create a Facebook business account. Now, a business account is just the way it sounds. If you are a business, you probably have multiple people who are going to at least have access and maybe even manage your ads. And it might also mean that if you're a business, you might have multiple ads accounts, you might have multiple Facebook pages, and even multiple companies. So you want to have everything in one place, and you don't want it to be personal. So right now, if you've been following with us from the beginning, it's going to be personal for you too. So if you only see your own here, don't worry about it. We're going to turn this into a business account later on in this section. All right, so that is that, and this is where we're going to be able to change between the different ads account. Now if we move to the right, we can see that there is something known as a refresh table data. So this is going to be exciting to use, because as your ads continue to update and as they continue to gather more data and information, all we need to do is click on refresh table data, and we might have some different results to be checking, right? There's no need to click on the link and update the entire page. Just click on refresh table data. To the right, we have discard drafts, which basically means that if we're creating a couple of changes and we don't like the changes, we can just discard them before we publish them. You're going to see what I mean later on. And then we can review and publish basically any changes that we made. If we're deciding to do some split testing, but we want to review it before we actually go live and publish them, this is where we click on review and publish. So you review your changes and then you publish, so you don't make any mistake or make any quick conclusions or bad decisions, right? And then going to the right, we can reset Ads Manager, which we don't want to do. We can also use keyboard shortcuts. Some people want to use them. Honestly, I just think it works fine with clicking around, so I don't use them personally. Now going down, we have a search function. The search function is not going to matter to you a lot now, but it's going to be handy as you grow your account, especially if you're planning on working as a or for a agency, right? Because there's going to be a lot of different campaigns, a lot of different ad sets, and you're kind of going to want to be able to search through them, right? So if I click on search by and I click on campaign name, well, all I would need to do is write in the campaign name here, and then that is the only one that's going to pop up. So if I've been clever with naming my campaigns and I search for traffic and all my traffic campaigns are called traffic, well, those are going to be the ones that pop up, right? So it's just a way of using different filters here. And you can have the campaign name, you can even use the campaign ID. And if you checked out the build a URL parameter, if you were with us on that lecture, well, then you know if you decided to use the campaign ID that you can filter through that campaign ID and then match it with your Google Analytics, right? It's a little bit overkill at that point, but just so you know that you can. And then we also have the filters, right? And they're kind of the same thing. I mean, the search is also a way of filtering, but these are more templates for the filters. If I click on filters here, one of the more useful things that you can do is go down and then click on campaign delivery here, just hover over and then click on active. So what that is going to do is that it's only going to be displaying your active campaigns. So remember, the one we actually made, we turned off. So if I would use this filter and click on it, that one is not going to show right now. So this is going to be super handy when you're really starting to fill up your account, right? Because you're going to need to learn how to properly filter through them to manage and organize your account. Super important. And we can do this with everything. We can do it with ad metrics, with placements, with objectives, with the delivery, right? With the ad set delivery, with the gender, with basically you name it and you can filter through it. And if that wasn't enough, we can click on the plus here and we can create our own. So you can add in any of these and then you can add is not, contains, does not contain, etc. And then you can either use this one, or if, for example, you're using an audience age, you could use contains any and then choose from, and then you can click on that option. So there's a lot of different filters that you can be using to navigate through. Moving to the right, this is super important to realize because this is your data timetable. So everything that we're seeing down here is going to be reflecting the date filters that we're using here. So if we are using this month, and suddenly you're looking at your results and you're seeing them go down, or the reach is going down or whatever, that is going to be because you're using the this month filter. But if instead you were using lifetime, then you would see the total amount, right, of all of the data that you're gathering. So if anything ever looks wonky or you see the results skewing around a little bit, understand it's probably about the data preset. Now you can set your own in order to investigate maybe during a certain sale. You want to see how your ads actually went during those sales. So a good idea, for example, if you have Cyber Monday or a Black Friday or January sale, then write down those dates and then know that you want to check those dates out in this timetable, because it's going to be very valuable data to see how much it actually goes up. Then you also know how much to increase your spendings during those sales, right? Then moving down further, we have the campaigns, the ad sets, and the ads. And this is very important because that is basically how all of the Facebook ads are built up. And we already understand them at this point because we built them up, right? So right now we're checking out campaigns and we see that this is the traffic campaign we have. We're checking out the ad sets. We only created one and we named it in a clever way so that we know which one it is. And then clicking on ads, we can see here that we have all of those different ads. These are the ad designs. Now, notice that these are called image 1, image 2, image 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is because we decided to add in a lot of pictures. They all go under the same ad set. That is, all of those ads are targeting, in the US 22 to 40 long distance relationship. Now, what I recommend you do at this point is hover your mouse over at here and then click on edit name. And then you could call this one, for example, instead of image 5, you could call it, let's say, gray plus black, because then you know what image it is. And this is what we spoke about earlier, making sure you organize properly and having names that reflect what you're actually doing with your ad design. Once again, very important to know, if you are using URL parameters, you are going to want to make sure that the word image 5 is still in here, right? So then I might call it, for example, image 5, and then like this, because we published it with the name image 5, and we know that when we're using URL parameters, then these names never change. If you did not use URL parameters, you don't need to care about what I'm saying, right? If you did not use URL parameters, then feel free to just name them accordingly. So this one would be called, for example, gray plus black. And then I'm just going to click on publish, and then we have a new name, and this makes a lot of more sense, right? This is going to be a much easier way to navigate. And basically, this is how we can navigate through the different levels. Now, something else to understand, and this is very important, is that we can select and filter out by clicking on them. So right now, it's very easy because we have a single campaign, right? We have a single ad set, and we know that all of the different ad designs go under the same ad set, under the same campaign. But if we are to use another account that we have, just to show you how things might look like when you have a couple of more campaigns going on, you might notice that, okay, we have a couple of campaigns, not too bad. We go to ad sets. Now it's starting to get a little bit messy, yeah? And then we go to ads, and now things are starting to get really messy, right? So of course we can use the filters like we learned, but if I want to understand which are the ad sets that I'm using for the Facebook ads course, for example, all I need to do is click on it, and then it's going to filter out all of the ad sets that we are using for that campaign. All right, so as you can see, I have one selected. I selected this one simply by clicking on it. So now when I go to ad sets, I can see all of the ad sets that are connected to that campaign. This makes life so much easier. Similarly, now if I go to ads, I'm going to be able to see all of the ad designs that are connected to that campaign, that are connected to both of these ad sets. But if I want to filter even further, what I could do, for example, I want to see what ad designs am I using for the landing page impressions. Then all I need to do is click there, and then when I am at the ad designs level here, I can see, oh, this is the one I'm using. I'm only using one. Well, if I go back then, for example, and I deselect this one and I select this one instead, doesn't matter if you click here, if you click on the name, and I do it like this, and then I go back to ads, we can see that, oh, I'm using actually 4 ad designs for this one. So very important to understand how this sort of filtering works. And you are also not limited to just using one. So if I remove this one, for example, I'm going to get them back. But that also means that I could, for example, want to see the ad sets that I'm using for the Facebook ad scores and the lead generation and the Instagram marketing course. I just select all of them and I go to ad sets and I get to see all of those ad sets and then all of those ad designs. And then I could filter out further at the ad sets, etc., etc. I think you're starting to get the gist of it, right?